Hello everyone. It is Thursday night, I think. I don't know, I spent most of this week sleeping and I had a little bit of opportunity to do some crocheting. Nothing real fancy. Tried to stick with some easy stuff. Get out of there, kitty. Yeah, so I tried to stick with easier things to make, you know, because I just haven't been feeling great. I feel better. I'm still not all there, but I do feel better. Toby, you are being bad. So I played with some things with acrylic and a few things in the blanket yarn. So the first thing that I did was I Googled an otter because I wanted to make an otter. And I was looking for a free pattern. I didn't want, I don't know, I just didn't want to spend any money. So when I did the search, you know how you get like a little collage of pictures? The first thing that jumped out at me that like really caught my eye was a little different than what I'm used to. It's like a ragdoll style. And this is it. So I thought, you know, it looked easy enough. How hard can it be? Well, sewing it together was a lot harder than what I thought. But I think it turned out pretty cute. I would, Toby, don't do that again. I would sew on the pieces a little different next time if I make it again. Rather than, you know, going along around the edges, I would just like do a top stitch down into it. And because you sew all the pieces on before you put it together, so it wouldn't flatten out the edges of the parts as much as the way I sewed it on did. But I mean, he's fairly cute. He's, you know, flat. He's a little ragdoll. I couldn't imagine doing this pattern out of the blanket yarn because it would be huge. This thing's pretty good sized. I'd say it's probably about 8 inches. Not including the tail. It is 8 inches. That was a pretty good guess. So he's 8 inches from top of his head to the bottom of his butt. And the tail is probably another 3 inches or so. But he turned out kind of cute. So I did that. And then for some reason, I cannot find my book that has all the patterns in it for making the little fruits and vegetables. And I thought, you know, I know it's the tail end of fall, but I need to have a couple of fall items. So I wanted to do some pumpkins. And my book, the pumpkins look like this. And when you do the string that cinches it, it is worked in underneath the front loop that you leave remaining as you go around. So you really need, or I really need, the pattern to be able to follow that. And then it has, you know, for a leaf and the little curly Q and the stem. And I liked how this one turned out. But I need the pattern. I mean, that's been a while ago that I made that. So on Instagram, ouch. On Instagram, they had a pattern that's done different where you're doing rows of just back loop. And it gives you the little ridges. And then you turn it into a pumpkin. So it didn't call for the curly Q. I added the curly Q. And it said to do the stem in brown, and it had you doing it different and attaching it, but I just like did a top stitch into it and worked my way around. I did it the same color greens, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, you know, like wasn't what was in my mind's eye, if that makes any sense. But, and that's small. That's like 20 stitches wide, and I think it was 36 rows, and it makes this small little pumpkin. So I did that. And then I tried a couple of other things with the acrylic yarn that were kind of like the ragdoll style, and they were fails, so I didn't finish them. They were just total fails. So, of course, I'm still just kind of like laying in bed and wanting to do something, but at the same time knowing that I need to be taking it easy because we don't want to be sick forever. We want this to run its course really fast. So I started making water balloons. So I used up the last of my yellow that I had open, and I got 5 of those. And then this terracotta color, I haven't used it all up yet, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 of them that are completed, and then 5 of them that are completed, and 4 that I still need to wrap the end around the top and work it in. So that's 9. So I made 14 water balloons. And I know what you're saying. We're coming into fall. It's not time for water balloons. But this is Florida. It's always hot. We have so little cold air that water balloons are a good idea anytime, in my opinion. So the idea was I'm going to make up packets of like maybe 5 or 6, I'm not sure yet, and sell it as a grouping, you know, like the different colors. This is way softer than this. So there's those. Then my other idea for something simple but fun and easy to work on were snowballs. Yeah, and it's funny because you think you come up with a great idea only to find out like a bazillion other people already do it. So I have 1 package of those made up. And I had to design a label for it. So here is a pack. It says indoor snowballs, 100% handmade, no mess, melt free, soft, reusable, fun, ready to throw. And then with a little warning label like, you know, if you've been throwing it around, you don't want it to pick up something off the floor that might be sharp. So you want to inspect them before you use them and, you know, use them with adults and all that. But I have 1 package of snowballs ready to go. Toby. Then, now this was fun. This I did yesterday. This I did yesterday and today. Now last week I showed you Seth the seagull. And it's really cute, really fun. The pattern designer I believe her name is Gwen. She released her modifications for that, which are free, but you have to have the Seth pattern in order to be able to do the modifications. And it was for to turn it into 3 different birds. So, of course, I had to work on that. Toby, whatever you are doing, you need to stop. Yeah, so the first one was a mallard duck. So it wasn't as fun to make as Seth was, I think, because all of the color changes, and I'm having to look, here's the modification that tells you, you know, rounds 1 through whatever do this color, and then you get to a round and it might be like 2 stitches of this color and 5 stitches of that color, but you have to again look back over to the pattern itself to make sure, are you on an increase row, are you on a decrease row? And so it was a lot of back and forth. I really had to take my time with it, but it turned out nice. I like how it turned out. It just wasn't as relaxing fun as Seth was, you know, the seagull. So then the second one was a robin. And I'm looking at the colors it says to use, and I'm like, since when are robins gray? Well, it turns out it's a European robin. And technically it said to use a light brown. This is, get out. This was my lightest brown that I had. And it says to use a burnt orange. This is mango, as close as I had. And then this is the gray. So this one wasn't as bad as the mallard. And I think it turned out pretty cute. I mean, who knew you can take the same pattern and turn it into so many different things? Toby, please do not spill my drink. Then the last of her modifications was definitely an interesting one. It was very hard. I don't know that I would make this one again. It's called a coal tit. Now, these are all European birds. But this one, you really got to pay attention to what you're doing. So you have black and white and yellow and sage green and dark gray all on the same bird. And I didn't have anything in the Parfait Chunky that even came close to resembling a sage green. So this is the chenille braids, Premier chenille braids. So I had to do one less round than the other birds for their wings because they was coming out huge, because this is just a little bit heavier than the Parfait. But yeah, I'm not so sure about this guy. I mean, it's pretty, but I don't know. This one I really had to concentrate and pay attention. Maybe I'll try it again when I am 100% up to par and it doesn't feel like such a chore. So far, from what I've showed you, Seth is my favorite. Then, as far as looks go, I would say the mallard. Then the robin. This is my least favorite of hers. So let's take that a step further. I did a cardinal on my own, just using the Seth pattern, but I had to figure out the color calculations all on my own. And I actually did this before the modifications came out because I was waiting for the modifications, and I got impatient and I wanted to play. So here is my cardinal. I thought that I did pretty good. So this is poppy red, and on the wings there's a little bit of ruby, and then black, and I think it's tangerine orange for the beak. I think that's what I used. But I like how he turned out. The cardinal I like a lot. And then I did one other one. One of the meanest birds in our area. Well, I don't actually see them here where I live now, but in St. Pete, I see them all the time. Very first bird you would ever see any time of the day was a blue jay. And blue jays are mean. They'll pick on your cats and stuff like that. But I made a blue jay. And I thought that he turned out pretty darn good too. I mean, considering like there should be a lot more white and stuff in it if you wanted to like resemble realistic, but it's a plushie. But I thought he turned out pretty cool. A blue jay and a cardinal. These two were mine. The mallard, the robin, the coal whatever, and the seagull. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 birds out of one pattern. And I'm sure, I'm looking at it because I'm thinking chickadee is next. That should be easy enough. It's going to be some grays, some whites, some black. If you really wanted to get technical, a little bit of brown on his belly. But just black and white and gray, everybody would know it was a chickadee. So I'm thinking about that one. So, but that's pretty interesting where you can take one pattern and just by playing with the colors, making it 6 different things or more. And, oh, yeah, one other thing I had played with is I was thinking about, because I think Seth is so cool, making little hats or something for him. And this one didn't quite turn out the way I wanted to. It's not like permanently on there. But I wanted it to be like a sun hat and with the little band in there. But it curls too much and it's like just a little bit too big for his head. Now, it fits on there. It'll stay on there, but it like comes down too low over the eyes. Maybe. I don't know. What do you think? But I thought that'd be kind of cool to have little hats for them to wear. Why not? You're so skittish today, Toby. What is going on with you? No, you cannot have my stuff. Where are you going? You have to stretch up high. Stretch up high so you can say hello to everybody. Come on, look. Right here. Right here. Say hello to everybody. He doesn't want to cooperate. All right, so that is very short, very sweet. I have no air-conditioned stories or power outage stories or anything like that for you today. Just a pouty kitty here who didn't want to eat his dinner or his lunch. I think he's deciding to be a picky kitty because he's definitely acting, other than not eating, acting normal. Okay, so seriously, that is it. That is all I have worked on. When you count number of items, it seems like a lot, but it really isn't. Especially like the snowballs and the balloons, those were quick. This took a little bit of time. The pumpkin was quick, and the little birds. I did 2 of them yesterday and 3 of them today. But I had to try out those modifications. All right, once again, I will see you over here in the next video.